In the land of Egypt, under the burning sun and towering pyramids, the Israelites groaned in chains. Enslaved by a Pharaoh who feared their growing numbers, they toiled endlessly in mud and stone, crying out to a silent heaven. To stop their rise, Pharaoh issued a decree of horror. Every newborn Hebrew boy was to be cast into the Nile and drowned. Hope seemed lost, but from that darkness a light was born. A Hebrew woman named Jochebed gave birth to a son, and when she saw he was special, she hid him for 3 months. Fearing for his life, she placed him in a basket woven of reeds, sealed it with tar, and set it afloat upon the Nile. She watched from the shore as her baby's fate drifted into the unknown. By divine design, the basket was found by the daughter of Pharaoh herself. Struck by the infant's cries, she took pity on him and raised him as her own. She named him Moses, meaning drawn out of the water. And so, the child marked for death became a prince of Egypt, raised in the splendor of palaces, and taught in the wisdom of the greatest empire on earth. Yet the truth could not be buried forever. As Moses matured, he saw the suffering of his people and felt the stirrings of a deeper identity. One day, witnessing an Egyptian slave master beating a Hebrew, rage overtook him. He struck the man and killed him. Realizing the deed was known, Moses fled Egypt, leaving behind his royal life and wandering into the vast wilderness. In the land of Midian, Moses found refuge with Jethro, a priest of the desert. He married Zipporah, tended flocks, and lived in peace for 40 years. But destiny does not forget. One day, atop Mount Horeb, Moses encountered a burning bush that blazed with fire yet was not consumed. From within it, a voice called his name.
Moses, Moses.
Take off your sandals, for the ground you stand on is holy. It was the voice of God. The Lord declared that he had heard the cries of his people and chosen Moses to lead them out of bondage. Afraid and uncertain, Moses asked, "Who am I to do this?" God answered, "I will be with you, armed with shepherd's staff and divine purpose." Moses returned to Egypt. Alongside his brother Aaron, he stood before Pharaoh and declared, "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, let my people go." But Pharaoh's heart was stone. He mocked command and increased the burden on the Hebrews. Then came the plagues, 10 wonders of terror and power. The Nile turned to blood. Frogs, gnats, and flies swarmed the land. Livestock died. Boils afflicted the skin of men. Hail fell from the skies, and locusts devoured the fields. Darkness covered the land for 3 days. Yet Pharaoh refused to yield. At last came the final plague, the death of every Egyptian firstborn. On that dreadful night, the Israelites marked their doors with the blood of a lamb, and the angel of death passed over them. Pharaoh, devastated, relented. "Go," he said. "Leave Egypt. Take everything and go." So Moses led a multitude of Israelites, over 600,000, into the wilderness. But Pharaoh, full of regret and fury, pursued them to the shores of the Red Sea. Trapped between water and war, the people despaired. But Moses raised his staff, and with a mighty wind, God parted the sea. The Israelites walked through on dry land. When the Egyptians followed, the waters collapsed upon them, and the might of Egypt was shattered. In the desert, Moses became the shepherd of a nation. At Mount Sinai, wrapped in fire and smoke, he ascended alone to meet with God. For 40 days and nights, he received the 10 Commandments, the law that would guide his people. But below, the Israelites grew restless and built a golden calf to worship. Enraged, Moses broke the stone tablets. Still, he pleaded with God for mercy, and a second set of tablets was given. Year after year, the Israelites wandered through the wilderness. They murmured, rebelled, and lost faith, yet Moses remained their guide, their intercessor with God. He struck rocks for water, called down manna from heaven, and stood between the people and divine wrath more than once. He aged, but his strength never failed, nor did his vision. At the edge of the promised land, on Mount Nebo, God showed Moses a land flowing with milk and honey, but Moses would not enter it. There, overlooking the Jordan, he breathed his last. He was 120 years old, and to this day, no one knows where he was buried. Moses, the child of slaves, the prince of Egypt, the prophet of fire, the lawgiver, and the liberator, left behind not just a nation, but a legacy that reshaped the world. He spoke with God face to face, and through him, freedom was born.